The wind whispered secrets through the tall grasses as an elderly dog ambled through the forest. His tail, once a proud plume, now drooped like a faded flower, mirroring the slow setting sun. Time had etched its passage on his face, each wrinkle a story, each gray hair a testament to seasons gone by. He was a gentle soul, this old dog, his spirit as calm and clear as the starlit night. But the tranquility of his twilight years was about to be challenged. One crisp morning, driven by hunger, the dog ventured into the heart of the whispering woods. It was here, amidst the ancient oaks and pines, that he came across an unexpected sight. There, huddled beneath a fern, whimpering softly, was a tiny fox cub. Its fur, the color of fallen leaves, was matted and dirty, its eyes wide with fear and hunger. Any other animal, perhaps a cat or a badger, would have pounced at the sight of such prey. But the dog's heart was not made of such harsh stuff. As he cautiously approached the cub, memories stirred within him, memories of a time when he, too, had been lost and alone in these very woods. His instincts screamed at him to run, to chase the scent of the fox away. Yet something held him back. Perhaps it was the pleading look in the little creature's eyes, or maybe the fading echo of his own past. Whatever the reason, the dog chose to stay. He nudged the cub gently with his nose, and in that silent moment, a decision was made. The dog would stay and help the lost fox cub. The dog licked the cub's head, and as if understanding the gesture, the fox snuggled close to him. It was an odd pair, a seasoned hunting dog and a wee fox cub, united not by blood but by circumstance. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the dog rose to his paws. It was time for action. He looked back at the cub, and in his eyes was a mixture of firmness and kindness. The dog began to move, and the cub, understanding instinctively, followed close behind. Their first lesson was tracking rabbits. The dog demonstrated, sniffing the ground, then turning to look at the cub, as if explaining his every move. After a while, he stopped, looked back at the cub and barked softly. Then he repeated the process, taking the cub closer to where the rabbits were hiding. Each bark was a guide, each movement a lesson. And the cub, like a sponge, absorbed it all. The day wore on and the lessons continued. The dog showed the cub how to forage for berries, which ones were safe and which were sweet. He taught the cub how to read the language of the birds, how their songs could mean safety or signal danger. By the end of the day, the cub was tired, its belly full of berries and its mind brimming with new knowledge. It snuggled up to the dog, feeling the warmth of his body and the strength of his spirit. Night fell, bringing with it the symphony of the forest, the crickets, the owls, the rustling of small creatures in the undergrowth. The dog, sensing the cub's unease, lay down beside him, his large frame shielding the smaller animal. The cub, feeling the dog's protection, gradually relaxed, falling asleep to the rhythm of the night. With each sunrise, the dog's guidance became more specific. One day he led the cub to a stream, pointing out the fish darting between the rocks. The dog, being a keen hunter, had the instinct to catch the fish. But instead, he did something extraordinary. He dislodged a stone, creating a small pool above the water. Then he sat patiently, waiting for the fish to tire themselves out in the shallow pool. Once they did, he ate, sharing his catch with the grateful cub. The cub watched intently, trying to understand this new concept. And after a few days of patient observation, he began to do the same, dislodging pebbles and catching the unsuspecting fish. The forest, once a place of fear, now echoed with the happy splashes of two little paws as the cub learned the art of fishing. But the dog's teachings were not limited to the practical. He also shared stories of the forest, tales of the animals and the land, and even sang old songs that spoke of bravery and kindness. The cub, listening to these stories, grew in knowledge and wisdom. The dog's booming bark would suddenly turn into a gentle woof as he recounted stories of daring adventures or mischievous woodland creatures. The cub would tilt its head, its eyes shining with wonder. At times, the dog would stop mid-story, his ears pricked, listening intently to the sounds of the forest. In those moments, the cub saw a different side of his mentor, a side that was alert and sharp despite his old age. As the weeks turned into months, the cub grew bigger, stronger, and smarter. His fear of the forest had vanished, replaced by a deep understanding and respect for the whispering woods. The bond between the old dog and the fox cub deepened. They hunted together, played together, and slept under the starlit sky, two unlikely friends united by an invisible thread of love and respect. One evening, as they were sharing a meal of freshly caught fish, the dog, sensing the cub's growing confidence, decided it was time for one last lesson. He looked into the cub's eyes, his gaze serious yet kind. He wanted to pass on to the cub the most important lesson he had learned in his long life. "Little one," the dog began, his voice raspy with age, "you are a fox. Your destiny lies in the hunt, in the thrill of the chase." The cub looked back at the dog, his eyes questioning. The dog continued, "You are swift and clever, and the forest is your domain." The cub, though, seemed troubled. He glanced back at the dog, then at the forest, as if struggling with an inner conflict. The dog, wise and patient, waited for the cub to be ready. When the cub finally looked back at him, his eyes were firm, his resolve clear. "I will never forget what you have taught me," the cub said, his voice echoing with gratitude, "but my path is with the hunters, just as you belong to the pack." The dog, his heart swelling with pride, nodded slowly. He understood. And so the next morning, the cub set off into the woods, his gait no longer uncertain, his eyes sharp and bright. He was a hunter now, ready to embrace his destiny. The dog watched him go, a faint smile on his wrinkled face. His task was done. He had guided the cub not just in the art of hunting, but in life itself. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the dog curled up under his favorite tree. He was tired, his old bones aching, but a deep sense of peace filled him. He had lived a good life, a life filled with purpose and love. As he closed his eyes, he thought of the cub, now a young fox, running through the forest, strong and free. The dog's tail, though old and gray, wagged slowly, a gentle farewell to a life well lived and a friend set free. The whispering woods echoed with the laughter of a young fox as he chased butterflies and raced through the undergrowth. His days were filled with the joy of living, his nights with the comfort of knowing that somewhere in the woods, an old dog was watching over him, his spirit as calm and clear as the starlit night. For in the end, it wasn't just a dog who had taught a fox how to find food, it was a friend who had shown the way to life.